This episode is brought to you by Denver Fringe Festival. Denver's favorite Choose Your Own Adventure Arts Extravaganza is back. The 7th annual Denver Fringe Festival runs June 3rd through June 7th. Catch over 80 shows at 20 venues around Denver, including the Fringe Art Show at 2 different venues. Got kiddos? Check out Kids Fringe, a mini festival for families with free kids shows at 3 different locations. Tickets are just $20 for a show or $95 for a full festival pass. Tickets and passes are on sale now at denverfringe.org. Hey Denver, Bree here. At the end of today's episode, we've got a sponsored segment with TaskRabbit. Danny Feely is going to talk to me about spring home maintenance and how you can hire a trusted local neighbor to get it done. Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. So today we're talking about the latest lawsuit filed by the family of an Aurora man who was killed by police in 2024. Some interesting and needed upgrades at DIA, and we hear from you, our dear listeners. Producer Olivia Jewel-Love, good morning.
Good morning, Bree. How was your Memorial Day?
It was good. We did a little swimming, a little barbecuing. It was freezing, actually. It was too cold to be swimming outside because the wind started blowing. You know, it's like the wind starts blowing, the clouds went over the sun, and then it was over. But as you know, I went to Cracker Barrel this weekend and did my candy haul, and you sent me to look at the Caterpillar glow lamp.
I sent Bree to do my bidding and look at some tchotchkes for me at the Cracker Barrel gift shop.
So many good ones in there. But instead of the Caterpillar, I found this strawberry, and you were like,
I'm really excited about my strawberry sensory lamp from Cracker Barrel. Not a sponsor of the show, but they could be. Old Uncle Herschel or
whatever their character is.
Mr. Cracker, Mr. Barrel,
Mr.
Get in
C. Barrel.
Cracker C. Barrel, get in the Colonel Barrel, get in the DMs. We would love to have you sponsor this show.
I do want to shout out Mary Jo at the Cracker Barrel in Northfield. She was so helpful and so nice. And when I told her what was going on, I was like, oh, my colleague, one of my friends really loves strawberries. I came across this. I sent her a video and she sent me some money to buy it. And she was like, that is the sweetest thing you could do for a friend. I was like, thank you, Mary Jo.
True. Mary Jo gets it. And I agree. I've been sick, so I was about to go to sleep, but you sent me that. And I was like, thank God I'm still awake. I had already popped the NyQuil, and I was like, oh my God, thank God I'm still awake. And I sent it to my partner, and he was like, wow, that's probably the most you thing I've ever seen. And I was like, yeah, it's a strawberry lamp full of floating glitter. Like, I need it.
Well, we'll share a picture of where Olivia places it on our Instagram when she gets it set up.
Update pending.
Okay, let's dig into the news. Our first story is a new lawsuit filed against the city of Aurora in the shooting of Kylan Lewis.
Yeah, so this new federal civil rights lawsuit dropped last week from the family of Kylan Lewis against the city of Aurora, alleging systemic failures in training and discipline. And their lawsuit alleges that those failures led to the fatal shooting of Kylan Lewis in 2024. Bree, can you kind of back up and explain what happened back in 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. And also just to start this off, I want to give a shout out to the reporting at the Denver Post from Lauren Pennington and Shelley Bradbury, because that's where I pulled a lot of the information that I'm going to share with you all. So yes, 2 years ago in May of 2024, 37-year-old Kylan Lewis was shot and killed by Aurora PD's SWAT team. After they approached him, he was in an apartment. He was getting out of his car in an apartment complex parking lot, and they were there looking for him on suspicion of an attempted first-degree murder. So Lewis was unarmed at the time, and he was holding a cell phone in his hands, and he died of a single gunshot fired by SWAT member officer Michael Deek. So Shelley Bradbury at the Denver Post says, quote, body-worn camera footage shows Lewis with empty hands take a few steps toward the driver's side of the car while officers scream at him to get on the ground for 5 seconds. So this happens over the course of a couple seconds. His right hand briefly goes out of sight behind his back. Then he raises his hands in front of him towards his head, holding a phone in his right hand, the video shows. And this video is available online. Simultaneously, Deke shoots Lewis, who then collapses. So that's that's what went down in advance of these lawsuits we're going to now talk about.
Gotcha. So when something like this happens, when a shooting like this happens, there's a lot of internal reviews that happen. I understand that Aurora PD did an internal review, and also the district attorney did an internal review. What the conclusion did they come to after this?
Sure. So the internal review by the Aurora Police Department found that the officer had not violated department policy in the shooting of Lewis. And Arapahoe County DA John Kilner also concluded that the officer's use of force was justified. So this is kind of the impetus for why Kylan Lewis's family has been pushing back, I think, because of
Right.
these two findings in particular.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So also when I was reading about this, at the time when this shooting occurred, I read that Aurora PD was under a consent decree. I'm hoping you can kind of explain what that is and how it factors into all of this.
Sure. So a consent decree is an agreement. In this case, it's between Aurora PD and the fire department. And it's an agreement between those two departments and Attorney General Phil Weiser's office. And these guidelines of this consent, they have been ordered to improve the department's policies and practices. Sarah Wilson at Colorado Newsline says the decree, quote, directs the departments to change use of force policies, develop a system to collect information about police interactions, work to hire employees that reflect the city's diversity, and review policies over the administration of sedatives like ketamine. And I do want to talk about this ketamine aspect of the consent decree is basically like there's been proven to be a lot of issues within these departments. We would like these specific things addressed over the course of, I think it's 6 years was how long the decree ends in February of 2027. So this is an ongoing situation. What I found interesting and I think is important for folks to note is when they talk about reviewing the policies over administration of sedatives like ketamine administration, I think is it partially in reference to, unfortunately, the death of Elijah McClain in 2019. Also, an unarmed Black man in Aurora. He was a 23-year-old massage therapist. He was confronted by police officers on the street after someone reported him for, quote, just looking sketchy. Just walking down the street. And after officers wrestled him to the ground, paramedics injected him with a fatal dose of ketamine, which caused him to have a heart attack on the way to the hospital and pass away. So I just think that that's important context because that was 2019. This consent decree went into effect in 2021. There's been turnover at the police department in terms of like police chiefs and issues with those specific police chiefs. So this is sort of just, I think, part of a larger picture of ongoing issues that the Aurora Police Department in particular has been dealing with, essentially.
Definitely. I mean, it clearly shows that this is not an isolated incident. This is something that the department has had a history, kind of a track record of, unfortunately. So I was wondering, can you kind of explain some of the shortcomings of the police department that the lawsuit from his family is alleging from Kylan Lewis's family?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So they took two different approaches here, really, with these lawsuits. The first, I'll just go through the first one really quickly before we get into.
So there are two lawsuits. You're referring to the lawsuit that they filed this time last year.
Yes.
And then the most recent one just happened last week, and this new one is a federal lawsuit. So you're going to explain both of them.
Yes, absolutely. So again, he was shot and killed in May of 2024. In May of 2025, his family filed, or the estate of Kylan Lewis filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the city of Aurora. And this lawsuit alleges that Officer Deek's use of force against Lewis was unreasonable and violated multiple constitutional protections, despite the Arapahoe County's DA ruling that the officer was justified in the shooting. The second lawsuit, as you mentioned, that was filed last week is a federal lawsuit against the city of Aurora as well. It alleges that the city, quote, failed to properly train, supervise, and discipline officers, and alleges the department's policies and customs were the moving force behind the violation of Lewis's Fourth Amendment rights. So I think importantly is that this gets to this consent decree, right, and these issues that have been ongoing for the department itself. And I think there's a little bit more detail here that I think is helpful, which is the lawsuit also alleges that officers, quote, rushed the process in this situation, the shooting situation, issued conflicting demands, failed to de-escalate, and treated Lewis's non-threatening movement toward compliance as justification for deadly force. All actions contrary to the reform that was supposed to be underway in the department. So that reform is the consent decree. So the family is saying through this lawsuit that, again, the body camera footage is so short, but they're saying in this short amount of time, they believe he was not acting in a way that warranted the outcome. Which is, again, the body camera footage is, as always, it's very jarring to watch, but it gives you an understanding of like what is happening in those moments and how quickly things can happen and escalate. I think I was just like 7 seconds. It's just not a lot of time in general to really understand what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that definitely will be following this lawsuit to see, what ends up happening with that. And
one more thing. So again, like Olivia, like you said, we're going to be following this. We'll dig into, so there's been reporting from an outside organization that is sort of running the consent decree, like looking at how the department is actually maybe changes, or it's the work that they're trying to do to change these things. But something else I found interesting before we move on is why 2 lawsuits, right?
Right.
And a lawyer for the family explains that, quote, the 2 lawsuits are like parallel train tracks. They were both sparked by the same police shooting, but one is seeking justice for the individual incident and the other aims to create systemic change. So, because I was kind of like, what's the difference between these two really? Right. And it's because they have different outcomes in mind. It's like sort of one is justice in the family's eyes, and then one is what could be the bigger change for how do police departments function in situations like this. Yeah. And I think just something to keep in mind is just the context of which we are in right now in America. I mean, over the holiday weekend it marked 5 years since George Floyd's murder. So this current conversation around how police handle these situations is not just happening here in Colorado. Obviously, it's been ongoing across the country at this particular time for about 5 years. So
definitely
just something to think about. So we'll be watching that story as it develops. Okay, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, some more news. This episode is brought to you by the Central City Opera. The 94th Central City Opera Festival opens June 27th. Since 1932, Central City Opera has been one of Colorado's favorite arts traditions, bringing world-class talent to an 1878 opera house just 1 hour west of Denver. This summer, Central City Opera is celebrating Colorado's 150th anniversary and 250 years of American independence with an anniversary all their own, the 70th anniversary of their world premiere of The Ballad of Baby Doe. The show tells the scandalous historical love story of Silver Baron Horace Tabor, who has left his wife Augusta for Baby Doe, which rocked Denver society and remains a staple of Colorado history. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with Baby Doe. I want to see this show so bad. I know it's a scandalous story because Augusta Tabor doesn't get the credit she deserved for being a very cool lady. But there's something intriguing about Baby Doe. If you've ever seen pictures of her, she's gorgeous. And there's a reason there was a mining-themed restaurant named after her in Denver, because we love Baby Doe. Other shows this summer include The Marriage of Figaro, Masterclass, CCO in Concert, and so much more. Tickets start at $32 and seats are going fast, so don't miss out. The festival runs June 27th through August 2nd. Visit centralcityopera.org to learn more. Okay, we're back. DIA maybe dropped some of the biggest news it's really dropped in a long time. And I feel funny saying that because I'm so critical always of how much construction is happening there at all times. But they announced new pedestrian walkways. So I've not experienced this personally, but I've seen these videos of what it's like at DIA when the trains aren't operational for one reason or another. And it's like total chaos, right? Because you can only get to your concourses through the train system. And if something
for B and C. For A, you can walk.
I'm sorry, you're right. So for B and C, you physically cannot walk there. Or you cannot you have to take this mode of transportation. But Olivia, what are they saying? How are they presenting this? What are we looking at here? New
So
pedestrian walkways is a broad idea.
this has been happening more and more, but basically the proposition is that starting in 2027, they will begin construction on pedestrian walkways so people have the option to walk between terminals, and they will be utilizing the infamous tunnel system underneath the airport to make this happen, which I kind of felt like was a no duh. I was like, there's all these damn tunnels under this airport. Why can't I just go
We've been
walk?
in them.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, we do have the privilege of, like, having been in them and, like, seen it, but I'm like, there's so much lore around the underside of DIA. I'm like, okay, like, put me in a golf cart and get me down to Southwest, like, why do I have to
Yeah.
sit here and miss my flight because of the busted train? So, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. I feel like this is such a long time coming. This, like, wow, groundbreaking. We're gonna do a we're gonna do a walkway. Like, oh, who could have thought of that?
That was
Jesus,
kind
I
of
don't
my
know.
question for you, actually, was like, I've essentially grown up with this being my airport. I mean, obviously, I was around for Stapleton, but I was a young kid. So this is the airport, and this is the only airport I know, and this is the only way I've ever seen it function. But you are, you're newer to the city. Did you have that experience where you were like, why does this airport not allow me to walk?
Yeah, I grew up in Kansas City, and Kansas City recently got a new airport, which is beautiful and now much bigger, I think. I don't know, it feels much bigger. It used to be one of those airports where you could get off the plane and be in your ride's car in like probably 5 minutes. Like, you could just get out and like run to your car, or you could, show up. You could show up really late and still get on your flight. It was a small airport. There was a lot of different TSA stations, not just one centralized one. For some reason, I don't know why, that's probably why they redid it, but it was tiny and it was amazing and we all loved it. And then they changed it. Now it's great for other reasons. But when I moved to Denver, I was like, what do you mean I have to get on a train after I've already flown on a plane? I have to get on a train to get to the car. I was like, how many modes of transportation am I going to have to experience in like an hour's time? Like, I just was baffled by it. And my main gripe the whole time was like, yes, I think that this should be an option. Like, yeah, because people need a faster option. People need an accessible option. People need an option that doesn't involve walking. But why can't I walk if I want to? Like, that was my thing always. I'm like, I want a walking option because I'm the dad at the airport. I'm getting there early. Like, I'm getting there early. I'm walking around. I'm getting food. Like, I'm accidentally getting sucked into a conversation at the airport smash burger bar, making friends and almost missing my flight. But like, I got time to walk. I want to walk. Let me.
It's funny. I'm thinking of the people that actually are not you, that are not on time, and they're like really stoked about this because nothing feels like you have less control over your life than when you're late for a flight and you're waiting for a train. And then you have to like not knock some lady over in front of you just to get on the train because sometimes they're randomly crazy full. Other times they're totally empty. And like, what this did for me is, I think this is for anxiety sufferers everywhere. I feel like this could be a plus because you now maybe you have an option that feels a little bit more in your control.
Well, also, like, I am especially, I'm thinking like, I'm about to go sit in like a metal tin can for however long, like in the air. I can't get off. Like, I don't want to go get in a little, like, I know the train's fast. I don't want to get in it though. I don't want to get in. I don't want to get in another confined space before I go get in a confined space. Like, let me walk. Let me stretch my legs. I don't know. That's just like personal beef. But like, yeah, I mean, just all the videos recently of the train breaking down and people having meltdowns. And like, yeah, of course, you're completely powerless. There's nothing you can do. Like, doesn't matter if you got there early. You're screwed.
And I think too that the part of it is like, so I want to read this quote from airport CEO Phil Washington that he told CPR News. He said, first of all, the train is up and operating about 99% of the time. So, in theory, that's pretty good. But that 1% of the time that it's not, he also acknowledges it's complete chaos. So
it also doesn't matter, if it's 99%, if you're part of that 1%, you're like, all that matters to me is that I'm getting there on time, and like,
And now I'm
I'm
not.
going to miss my grandma's funeral because the stupid train's not working. So it's like, everything to each individual person is the most important thing they've ever done. So it's like,
I think that's kind of what they're saying too, is they're like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we heard you, which is funny to me because the airport has been there since the 90s and they're
I
just
can't
now
believe
dealing
that
with
this was the only, I just can't believe there wasn't a backup. Like I rarely go to the A concourse. Like I'm flying Southwest most of the time, even though
Sure.
they recently changed things up. I don't know how I feel about it, but like I'm been in the A concourse like once or twice. The few times I've walked because I like that I can walk across the bridge thing. Like I like that I don't have to take the train.
No, it is not. I'm usually in B because we have a United card. So I feel you. I'd have to use the train. As for price, okay, this was kind of wild to me. Construction is expected to begin in 2027 and finish within a year or two. It's expected to cost between $300 and $700 million. Just, between a large, that's like huge.
I mean, yeah, every construction project at the airport is going to cost so much money, and it's going to take so much time, and it's going to be so disruptive. And like,
it's
I
such
don't
a
know.
money pit
I'm
to
just
me.
like, maybe this is my only minimalist take I'll ever have, but I'm like, can we just go down there as is? Like, let me just walk down there as, like, I've been down there. It's no frills. Like, I get it. But like, just put a lane. I guess we can't really trust people at the airport because it's always like you're in the airport and it's like, wow, is this your first time walking on Earth? Like, people just like stop and it's like, wow, have you never like been outside before? Like,
I mean,
crazy. But like,
it's one of the
I'm like,
greatest
come on,
places
can't we
to
just
see like how much we don't think about other people.
God, it's insane. Like it's actually insane. But I'm like, can we just let's have a trial period and we just go down to the tunnels and try it ourselves? Like, do we really need to like develop a nice hallway, or like can we just let people go down there? Like, I don't know. Let's just try it.
Well, if you're wondering about your the bridge that you walked Concourse A, it's unclear if the planned tunnel walkway will also connect these two areas, the Concourse A and the Great Hall. So you may still be able to have that opportunity. But my question is, because it's going down below in the tunnel level, are they going to have like walking ramps to get into them? Or am I still going to have to take a escalator or an elevator? Because that part
What
is
do you
the part
mean
that
walking ramps?
Yeah, like a ramp. Yeah, like a ramp that you can walk down into the tunnel, like to walk. Because that's the thing. The thing that drives me nuts is not the trains as much as you get off a train with a bag and the kid has a bag, and you're supposed to get on an escalator. It's like the worst design.
What do you want instead?
Just like I don't want to have to. I want to be able to walk up and down a ramp to get to the tunnels. Because like you have to go down the escalator to get to the train. I hate that. I just find it so stupid when we're all carrying a bunch of bags.
You want like diagonal moving walkways, like,
or just like a walkway that is like a ramp into the basement that doesn't require an escalator into the basement. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I assume there will be some version of, there's already elevators, we know, like the freight elevators and stuff that we rode down there. But I mean, there's at least going to be stairs for fire purposes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what it looks like in practice, because Phil Washington also said that they had solicited ideas, and one of the ideas was to have pedestrian bridges like outside of go above the airport, but they said that would be hard for planes.
I saw some of these ideas. We'll put a link in the show notes, and one of them was like pods that like fly around and you have to like pay for them yourself.
Of course.
I was like, not
privatizing getting around the airport internally.
I will pay for a nap pod. I'll pay for a pod I can go take a nap in. But like, I'm not going to pay to fly in a pod over to Southwest. I'm like, I'm already flying Southwest. I don't have pod money. Come on.
Oh my God. That would just like, yeah, I'm sorry. It infuriates me when someone's like, let's make something that you didn't have to pay for, something you have to pay for. But
yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired though of all the like sky trains and stuff. Like the people yearn to walk. The people yearn for just.
I think we yearn for control. Of our own destiny a little bit.
Hey, if you want it to be fancy, put a moving walkway in there. That's an airport thing. Let's go.
Well, let us know what you think. Are you stoked on these new pedestrian walkways to get between concourses? Maybe you're an employee. I'd love to hear from employees on how
Oh
this
yeah.
may or may not impact you. Like, is this better for you all? What are you thinking? And then just people that are frequent flyers, give us a call, 720-500-5418. Again, you can leave us a voicemail, which we love, or shoot us a text and let us know what you think about the DIA walkways. Okay, we're going to take one more break. And when we come back, we hear from you, our dear listeners. Okay, and we're back. It's time to hear from you, our brilliant and hilarious listeners, about the things you care about. Again, you can write us, text us, email us, leave us a voicemail anytime about any episode of the past 5 years. We love to hear from you. Olivia, we have a voicemail from Hannah this week.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I live in Wash Park. And in response to the cheap takeout options, I would say Banh Mi Station by DU is a really good deal. It's like, I think it's $9 or $10 for a huge banh mi sandwich, and the bread is baked fresh. The tofu one's really good. And Taco Celine off Santa Fe, you can get a taco and a sopa, and it's like $8, and honestly, like, filling. Or you could get, I think their tacos are like $3. And it's good. And I'm pretty picky about tacos. Okay. Thanks. Love the show. Bye.
First of all, I hadn't heard of Banh Mi Station. That's so great. Thank you for the recommendation, Hannah. I was looking at it. It's on Evans. University. Oh, it's by the Blackjack Pizza at University. And is that Harvard-ish? Okay, I'll have to try that. Or Wesley. It's University in Wesley. But I do got a second Taco Celine. We go to the location on Kipling and Bowles because it's right by my in-laws' house. That's actually not far from your house.
Yeah,
Lydia.
that's right by me.
It's so good. And it is super affordable. You just want to, especially if you're feeding, if you're doing like a family night or you got like a couple people over, you can get like 20 tacos from there. It's super reasonable. You literally do nothing. You just open it and eat it. It's fantastic. So
I hit Taco Celine on First Friday sometimes when all the places with alcohol are too busy. And it's like Taco Celine doesn't have alcohol, at least the one down in Santa Fe doesn't. But it's like, if you're tired of paying the food truck price and you just want some tacos, you just need to eat, you go to Taco Celine. They're delicious. They're cheap. And like, it's such a big space in there. I feel like I've always found a table, or at least you can take them with you. So
yeah, that's a good,
that's a great rec.
Yeah, that is such a good rec. I have not been to that Santa Fe one, but
Yeah. First Friday hack. I'm sure it's not a hack. I'm sure everybody knows that, but
no, but I love that thought though, because sometimes there is a longer line just because like a place serves booze. So if you're like, and I know that feeling, like you're out walking around and you're like, okay, I'm starving. And the food truck line is bananas.
Also, the food truck will be like $25 for 3 tacos. And you're like, oh. And
You're
there's like a line that's got like 40 people in it.
And you're like, what am I paying for? I'm not like at a brick and mortar. I don't get to sit down. I have to sit on the curb.
Yeah. I spent, my partner bought me a churro at one of the First Fridays, and it was like $15 for a singular, like maybe 5-inch long churro. And I was like, it made me feel bad. I mean, not that bad because I didn't buy it, but like,
but you were just like,
bad,
really?
I would like 4 more of these actually. But
it's hard when it like you can tell it was a rip. You're just like, ugh.
Yeah. It's like,
okay.
Where's the rest? Yeah.
Before we go, let's just hear one more.
Hey, this is David from Whittier. I am just calling to give a shout out to Bree. I feel like Bree was was doing a great job this week. So great. Love it. Grew up in and around Denver and feel like your perspective is well thought out all the time in this area and grounded here, and especially liked some of what you were calling out in the CityCast full host podcast. So just saying thanks. Have a great weekend.
This made my life, David. Thank you so much. It's so nice. Sometimes even though we get really nice things, the criticism always overtakes your brain when you hear it. But when someone says something really nice and oh my God, that was just
something specific like this is really nice too. And I totally agree. You've been killing it, Bree. And thanks for calling in, David, and saying what we're all thinking.
David, I needed this more than you know. So thank you so much. Also, the All Hosts episode was super fun. If you haven't listened to it, it's me and the other host duking it out over which place has the best summer, Rex. And while they didn't make it to the final round because nobody wanted to go with me to Costco before we went to the river.
Yeah, Bree's going to the river. Yeah, right.
I was honest and said my husband and my son go to the river, and I sit next to the river and eat the food we got at Costco. But I did talk about Red Rocks because we all know
Your
that
$5 rotisserie chicken from Costco.
Get a $5 rotisserie chicken. You can probably get a paddleboard there and just go down to the South Platte.
You don't even need utensils. Just put your face right into that rotisserie chicken. Ow. Yummy.
Oh my gosh. Well, David, thank you so much for that comment. Again, you can always, if you have questions for us, if there's something you want us to dig deeper into, or if you just have a thought or perspective on something we've talked about, and maybe we didn't see or hear what you saw in that same situation, we'd love to hear from you. Again, give us a call, 720-500-5418, or email us, denver@citycast.fm. Olivia, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Bree.
Hey, it's Bree Davies, and I'm here with Danny Feely, the Director of Finance at TaskRabbit. Hi, Danny.
Hey, Bree. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. So for folks who haven't used TaskRabbit yet, give us the pitch. What is it? And what are Denverites actually using it for the most right now?
So TaskRabbit is a platform where you can find a skilled local tasker to help you with all kinds of tasks around your house. Think furniture assembly, TV mounting, those are huge, especially with so many people moving into new spaces lately. But we also handle cleaning, moving help, and general home repairs.
Awesome. It sounds so easy. So you're from Denver, so you've watched this thing expand from the inside. How have you seen this platform grow?
Yeah, it's been really incredible. We've actually helped Denverites complete more than 105,000 tasks over the last couple of years. From Rhino to Wash Park, we've become the reliable neighbor-to-neighbor resource for when life gets busy. We grew from a simple idea 16 years ago when our founder just needed dog food on a snowy night. And we are now the #1 platform for home services. So definitely huge growth and really interesting to see from the inside.
So, like the logistics side, how does TaskRabbit support local workers here in Denver?
Definitely. That is a huge part of our mission, so I'm really glad you asked. We aren't just a service, we're an engine for micro entrepreneurs. On average, taskers in Denver earn $49 per hour. That's a fantastic way to build a business or make some extra money on the side. Taskers are their own bosses. They set their own rates, their own schedules, and work areas, and most importantly, they take home 100% of their hourly rate and 100% of their tips.
Oh, see, this is all helpful to know. I'm thinking about it right now. Someone is listening and they're going, wait, I could get paid to do this. So who is the right fit for TaskRabbit, and what does signing up actually look like?
So if you're over 18 and you have a skill, whether it's painting, mounting, or just being handy around the house, we want to hear from you. We handle the back-end logistics so that you can focus on the work. We also take safety really seriously. So every tasker goes through a multi-step vetting process, including identity verification and background checks.
That's really, really good to know. So I have to ask, it's springtime. I have a house. I'm thinking about all the stuff I need to get done. But beyond the basics, like what are some household tasks that people should be thinking about now that we're in this season?
Yeah, particularly this time of year. Being from here, it's amazing how mild this winter was compared to the usual in Colorado. Spring came really early this year, and people have been thinking about pre-spring maintenance. We're seeing a lot of residents look for help with indoor organization projects. And don't forget, with the weather starting to shift, it's a great time to beat the spring rush for things like mounting a new TV for Rockies baseball or getting a head start on deep cleaning. Kind of whatever the task, you've got a neighbor ready to help somewhere in the Denver area.
I will say, I think my husband will be very excited if I'm like, actually, I found a person to climb on our roof and start our swamp cooler up for the season, and it won't be you.
Absolutely. Maybe a little safer, too.
A little safer. Yeah, for sure. Well, Danny, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much, Bree. Really appreciate the time.
And again, check out taskrabbit.com to learn more. We'll have a link for you in our show notes as well, so you're just a click away. Thanks for listening. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, want to take a minute to tell Mary Jo from Cracker Barrel about us. Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. and subscribe to our morning newsletter at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you later.